Hi, so let's talk about Notion and how I use it to organize my life. So you'll be seeing my timelines here and my different pillars that I use and my favorites and the tags and templates that like to use on a regular basis. So this is my worship pillar. And here's an emotional guidance scale. So this is basically just something that I use to help me identify feelings that I'm having in a particular moment and just figuring out how to articulate how I'm feeling in a particular moment. This database also shows some information about how it relates to other journal entries that I may be having in other areas of my journal. Related tags are just tags that are associated with certain notes that I may be taking within the segment. Soul work are my sermon and seminar notes. So that really has, these are Sabbath and Sunday sermon notes, anything I found on YouTube type of notes, all of that. I'm just moving another page into the database so that it can actually fall into there and have a template attached to it. This is actually one of my favorites right now. I haven't gotten all of the notes inserted in there, but I'm pretty proud of how it came out on here because my handwritten notes are pretty messy. And so this was like my first time being able to use Notion to execute and really just document my notes in a really cool way that I can use over and over again. Lunar is my moon journal. This is basically how to use a journal in phases of the month, according to phases of the moon. Daily faith is devotional work, so anything that has something to do with just a prayer practice, spiritual practice every day, things to ponder, things to explore. This is currently a book that I'm reading with in my support group right now that I'm really excited about. Dear Lioness is a gratitude journal. I haven't really fleshed that out yet, so yeah. Execute. So this is more about workbench related type of things. Any kind of project that relates to any of the things in the column on the right, organization, brand identity. They haven't really been fleshed out because I'm not really working on those type of projects, but just any ideas I might have about a particular project that's going to be coming up soon, projects that other people have maybe asked me to do, or just people that I'm inspired by, projects I'm inspired to do. At some point, they will come to fruition. Refine is really just personal development and skillcraft development. So coursework has been pretty heavy, what I've been doing in this particular section. Basically because I'm currently taking a medical coding course and studying to take my national certification exam here in the next few weeks. So I'm definitely taking some notes out of the books of medical students that have been using Notion to get their studies completed and really do well on their standardized exams. And I thought it was a really, really, really great way to use Notion to study. And I've also learned some things about spaced repetition. And so this is actually going to be my second time taking the national certification exam. I missed passing the exam the first time by I want to say about 3 points, which is kind of defeating but also encouraging. So We'll see how that goes. King is just where this is basically domain work. How are you keeping up and managing and guarding your kingdom? Elmore Farms, these are just kind of things that are associated with our home. Elmore Farms, dogs and service animal and behavior training, because we currently have a dog. We have had a few dogs that we were training to be service animals. Clovis Farms, because my grandmother has a green thumb and I would love to have a place for her. Boo Cubbies, because that's what I call my babies and all the babies that are associated with me and my family. So I'd love to have some activities that are associated with that. The Den, which is basically where we play and how we have fun and how we let loose and how we entertain our friends and family. And style work is something that I'm working on to kind of integrate some of the apps and personal styling avenues that are out. So life is also something that I've been using to flesh out. Homework probably should not be here. It should be in the King one, so don't worry about that. Boo Cubbies. This is like learning type of stuff, but I'm not really sure how to flesh that out. Body. This is work fit. This is fitness and food, basically, right? So I am toying with the idea of keeping up with this is probably the only tracker that I'm probably going to end up using at all in Notion. I know a lot of people are using trackers in Notion for all kinds of things, especially when it comes to fitness and nutrition. And in some ways, I feel like it's really helpful, but in others, I'm kind of like, I'm not trying to get that granular because I still want to be able to do life. So there's some information about good meal planning tips, because I could definitely use some tips on just better meal planning and like really being on top of doing that and just having some variety in our meals every week and every day, because Lord knows I really like to eat, but I don't like to cook as much as I like to eat, and neither does my husband. So we be out here eating tacos every Tuesday, eating spaghetti every Saturday. Like, yeah, it gets old super fast. So this article was really helpful in like helping me figure out what do I want to do with my meals. And a lot of these have actually really been helping. I think I'm kind of habit stacking in terms of using this and not trying to do everything all at once as if I've been doing this all my life, because that's easily a way to get me overwhelmed. So I'm not really going to go too far into that. But I think it's really cool how you're able to like put things together. You can do a whole meal schedule and actually create these. So as you can see, I actually created it on my 2021 calendar. So if you were to look at 2021 in the year, you'd actually be able to see breakfast show up. But later on down the line, I can actually use a different view on a different page of the same 2021 calendar to show that I'm having breakfast on Monday, March 13th. I don't even know what that day is, but whatever. I'm having, oatmeal and eggs for breakfast on Monday, March 13th. And, going through my pantry list and like choosing those things to be related to another page that has my recipes put together on there. And so it's really cool. I may or may not continue it on with it, but it's really helpful when I want to do some like intentional meal planning, because I do notice that when I make a list, I save a lot of time and money in the grocery store. So that's really awesome. Another really awesome feature of Notion is the web clipper, which has been really helpful in getting me inspired to find more recipes that I can use to incorporate in my breakfast, lunch, and dinner meal planning process. So maybe some of those recipes will get used, some of them may not be, but I think I may track when I get to use them. We'll see. Ink Incorporated, how we making the money. So the estate, this is how I plan to make the most of my capital, earn the most of my capital for my business, in real estate. And those are all the areas that I'd like to have properties in, and like I'd like to make real estate income streams in. So I've gotten into wholesaling, so this has been a really great way to populate this particular area. This is a particular deal I was working on not too long ago. This was not a fully successful contract, but it was a really great way to practice documenting this information, just going all the way through the process and seeing how to actually do everything and what it all entails and create a workflow from that. But it's just really, really helpful. I probably had to put some back buttons and links and things on there, so it's a whole other video. Pink Gorilla Productions is basically for film and video production, podcasts, audio broadcasts, radio, XM, all that. Yeah. This is something that really came to me very specifically and here recently, and I'm like, oh, which is kind of where Pink Gorilla Productions came from, also as a reference to the DISC assessment, where my two highest traits are high D and high I, and at the beginning of that assessment, or when I first learned of that assessment, they were using animals as the major association for personalities, which was the D was gorilla, I was flamingo, S was a turtle, and the C was like a hamster. I don't remember the other ones, but anyway. Some of these other areas have not been fully fleshed out yet, just because I can only work on one thing at a time, particularly, and like I said, my major source of capital that I would like to be earning would be coming from real estate and of course money work, because I need to be able to keep up with that. This is just keeping up with my credit scores and stuff like that, and then legal stuff, which is pretty obvious. Society, just how to give back to my community. How will I create outreach and engagement to the people that keep rocking with me? What kind of gifts am I going to be giving? So I created something that will give me small to large gifts. So even if I don't have any money, I have a means to give something and make people feel special. And I really enjoy that, because I have people that have been rocking with me that really have been making me feel special. So I feel like that's the best way that I can do to give back, and I want to be able to do that. And the vault. That used to have a mission statement under there, and I guess it got lost in there, and I feel kind of bummed about it because it was a pretty solid one, but also I figure it needed some work anyway, so okay, we'll do it again. These are all the pillars and basically all the tags and like focuses associated with each of the pillars, so that it gives me an idea of what I want to talk about if I'm having like a writer's block. I have an infographic for, how to execute work-life incorporated society for my life on the daily, on the weekly, on the monthly, on the yearly, so that I always have something to look forward to. So let's see, let's check out the timelines. So I don't currently have a dashboard. I'd really like to have a dashboard, but currently this day I consider to be my dashboard, because I'm always only ever in this day as a person in my life in every moment, right? Like this moment is this day is, whatever. So no matter if I want to see what I have going on this week, or what I have going on this month, or what I have going on this year, not everything is fully fleshed out in terms of the way I want to view the information in each of these areas. But ultimately, I would like to be able to have views that allow me to really plan to the day and even perhaps to the hour what I would like to do. So, yeah.